There's a story going around about the party that plays brutally. A warrior, a priest, and a mage. According to people, they have no blood or tears, or so they said. After increasing their levels and clearing the area, the three high-fived in excitement. However, they just looked terrifying to the other parties, with their big smiles and blood all over their clothes. In the end, they all ran away from them, completely misunderstanding their situation. It was another peaceful day for our boy here. He went up to his room to continue reading a book, but when he opened the door, he was greeted by a rain of confetti and these two idiots greeting him a happy birthday. He stood there with a blank expression before whipping out his phone to call the police. However, he was hurriedly stopped by them. He sighed, scratching the back of his head. What do they want, dirtying up his room? His name is Takamine Mamoru, and these two here are Yonakara-shun and Kanzuki Akira. They're both been his childhood friends since birth. Anyway, they brought him a surprise gift. Huh? Wait, if they call it a surprise, then it's not a surprise anymore, is it? Whatever, it's fine. They'll keep the next surprise a secret instead. Mamoru took the gift and opened it. It's a game console. To be specific, it's the trending VR one lately. He's happy, but he heard it costs quite a bit. Are they sure he can take this? The two assured him that he, of course, can. They wanted to play it together, the three of them, so they saved up their allowance and part-time job money for several months. Wow. Mamoru was actually touched. Those guys who spend their allowance right away, saved up to buy this for him? Even Akira, who was once forbidden to work part-time by her parents because she couldn't save enough? Well, if they saved money just to give him a present, then he needs to cherish it. More than the game, he's actually happy about the two of them growing up. He talks like they're his kids. Immediately, Shun suggested they start playing the game together from tomorrow. Mamoru hesitated. They're playing right away? What kind of game is it, anyway? It's the Endless Battle Online, alias EBO. It's a massively multiplayer online role-playing game, or in short MMORPG, whose official version starts tomorrow. Hearing about the game being an MMO, Mamoru hesitated even more. He didn't like playing it in the past. The two worriedly waited for his decision. Those expressions made Mamoru give in. He hasn't been very cooperative with games lately, so he agreed to play with them. Besides, it's a present they bought for him, even saving up money they usually don't. The two cheered excitedly. Now the three of them can do it. They should form a party, too. The next day, Mamoru came over to Shun's room. The three of them live next door to each other, and their rooms are side by side. Design flaw? They can enter each other's room from the balcony. That's how he got here. And the reason? To play the game like they planned. But this guy, why'd he invite them and then sleep? Oh, he is dead. Mamoru placed a cold pack at the back of Shun's neck, and boom, he woke up with a loud screech. Shun apologized. He was just looking forward to playing the game with them that he couldn't sleep. Is he a grade schooler or something? Anyway, Mamoru handed him a rice ball he made. They'll play the game after he's had a proper breakfast. And if he calls him mom one more time, he's gonna hit him for real. Anyway, Akira's probably still sleeping, so he'll go and wake her up. Shun just nodded, enjoying the rice ball. And just a moment later, he heard Mamoru's loud voice, probably waking up Akira. How cruel. How atrocious. Mamoru returned to his room right after and read the manual for the game console. He put the choker on like instructed, and with this, the brain signals passing through the spinal cord are converted into data. Could this thing be reading brainwaves or something? Come to think of it, this is his first time with full dive VR. He wonders what will happen. He opened his eyes, but all he saw was a dark space. This must be the rumored VR space. Is this the home screen? As if on cue, small orbs circled around him. These are the games he can play. He picked the one that had Endless Battle Online written on it and proceeded to character creation. For the name, he'll use Tuka, which he used in other games too. As for the job, it seems he can choose two, a main and a sub. It's quite hard to decide which one to pick. But those guys will probably choose a job purely based on their hobbies without thinking ahead. So for their support, his main job will be a priest. This one mainly uses healing and buffs, and can fight on the front lines, but is more effective in the rear guard. For his sub-job, he chose Hunter since it seems versatile. This one can use daggers and bows, and is the only one besides the Trapper that can use traps. However, specialized abilities are slightly inferior, but it tends to be a jack of all trades due to the variety of things they can do. Next is skill points. He gets 10 points for every 1 level increase, and 50 points for every 10th level multiple. Since he's a priest and a hunter, something like this should be okay. He likes dexterity and intelligence. Oh, and he should make his magic power high. And he wants luck, too. Now for the skills, it looks like he can choose 5. For combat, he'll choose staff arts and bow arts. For support, healing magic and enhancement magic are definite. He can also get the others while playing, so he'll choose trap arts. Seems interesting. Finally, the appearance. His hair changed color. All right, he's logging in. He wonders what kind of characters those two created. He's actually a little excited. And so, he was brought to the world of EBO. First, he needs to meet up with those two. However, there's so many people. He's getting squished here and there. He needs to get to a safe zone for now. He finally let out a sigh of relief once he entered an alley. There seems to be no one there, so he can catch his breath. Still, it's amazing. It doesn't feel like a game at all. The sensation of walking is no different from reality. Well, it's just an alleyway, but the detail is incredible. It should be okay to explore a little, right? Just then, he remembered something and checked his item box. Equipment. Maybe he should put it on? Now it really feels like a game. He should probably meet up with those two soon. The square should be calm now. Tuka will be calling him by this name while in the game. Runs to find the exit, but he keeps circling around. Shoot. He's lost. He quickly checked the map but it's not on there. He didn't mean to go that deep. What should he do? Suddenly, he heard sobs echoing in the alley. Insert eerie music. What the hell? That's so creepy. This isn't actually a horror game, is it? He followed the direction the sounds were coming from and found a little girl crying by a wall. He doesn't think there's any player besides him in a place like this, though. Could it be an NPC? He asked her what was wrong. Slowly, she turned around and nothing. She's just a little girl with tears in her eyes, asking who he was. The little girl, Kanan, sobbed, saying her daddy got hurt and he needs medicine, but the ingredients for the medicine can only be taken from the scary monsters outside of town. To summarize, her father is injured, and the ingredients for his medicine can only be gathered from monsters. Literally what she just said. Anyway, she's in a bind, or so it seems. Suddenly, a window popped up, indicating a secret quest. Kanan's request is required. The materials he needed to collect are 5 clean water, 5 high-quality medicinal herbs, 5 rabbit horns, and 1 turtle moss. A secret quest, huh? This has got to be a pretty rare quest, he bets. There's no harm in accepting it. Besides, he can't just turn down the request of a crying little girl. All right, he'll go get those for her. Kanan's eyes lit up and she gratefully hugged him. She must have been really worried about her father. Tuka can't afford to fail this. Oh, right. He's curious as to what she was doing in a place like this. Actually, this is Kanan's secret spot that she found. If that's the case, he'll have to keep it a secret, too. All this secret-based talk reminded him of the one he made with Shun and Akira. They'd buy lumber from the hardware store to make pillars, weave bamboo and leaves for a roof, or make a makeshift stove out of mud. He even got a real scolding when he got caught sneaking his dad's tools out. But they passed that secret base on to the 5th graders they were friends with when they graduated from elementary school. Back to the quest, Kanan usually helps out at her daddy's shop, so he can just bring the medicine ingredients there. Her daddy runs an item shop. He's hurt right now, so she and her mommy are doing their best. Looks like she's only here when the quest starts. Does that mean only the first person to find her can take the quest? Oh well, it's a secret quest after all. Anyway, he'd better hurry up and get them to her. Kanan thanked him and bid goodbye. She's going back to the shop now. But before she could leave, Tuka called out to her to ask for directions. Fast forward, she guided him to the item shop. As for the back alley, Tuka managed to get through safely. He was also able to buy some bottles to collect the water. Now half of his money is gone, but still, that back alley, he got through it so easily. Now then, the materials he needs are 5 units of clean water, 5 units of high-quality medicinal herbs, 5 units of rabbit horns, and 1 unit of turtle moss. The one with the smallest required amount, the moss, is probably a rare drop, though he could be completely wrong about that. Among these, the one he doesn't really get is the water. It has clean in the name, so it can't be just ordinary water. He'll probably have to look for something like spring water. Could it be, can he, collect water from a fountain or something? He walked towards the fountain in the middle of the square and collected its water using the bottle he just bought and, he did it. He was able to collect it, but it seems to be random whether he gets clean water or not. Using 5 bottles, he got 1 clean water, 3 holy water, and 1 just water. Well, he got some clean water, so he'll call it good for now. To get the other 3, he might have no choice but to go outside town. Before leaving, he raised his stats, wondering if he could handle it at his current level. And so, he came into a wide open grassland. It's a field called Peaceful Plains. What a nice looking hunting ground. There are enemies that look like boars over there, and there are rabbits with horns, too. But, this area's no good. There are too many players. Just then, he noticed a rabbit spawning. He feels bad because it's hopping around looking happy, but he'll have to kill it. Tuka picked up a stone and threw it on the rabbit. Bullseye. A direct hit. Is he actually talented at this? Psych, it's not dead yet. It got up and jumped off the ground to counterattack. However, all he needed to do was evade, and it's done for. What cute little peaches. They're really good for kicking. Hiya. He feels bad for it, but this is the finishing blow. All right, he got rabbit meat and horn. At this rate, he'll get 5 in no time. He'll just keep hunting. He kicked a rabbit here, sent 1 flying over there, and finally, he leveled up. Time to hunt some more. This won't take long. Or so he thought. the horn is not dropping, just the meat. He's been hunting so hard, he even learned the skill throw. Maybe if he hunts some more? After what felt like hours, he learned the skill parry and martial arts. What the heck even is martial arts? He just learned 2 skills that don't even fit his job. Why is he fighting hand to hand anyway? He just wants the horns. He's happy that high-quality rabbit meat is dropping. It's clearly a rare drop. But, the horns. What he wants are the horns. Why won't they just give him the horns? Suddenly, he froze, realizing that all the other players were staring at him like he's some weirdo. This is so embarrassing. He needs to calm down. But this freaking window won't shut up. What does it mean that he learned the skill roar? Is he Simba? Shut up. Now everyone's whispering about him. Maybe he should change hunting grounds. He may have thought those skills he learned were useless, but it's thanks to them that he can finish off the rabbits with just the initial throw and kick. Once again, his level increased, and he acquired the titles Rabbit Killer and Inhumane. What the heck even is inhumane? Well, it's true he's been kicking defenseless rabbits around, but isn't this title a bit much? Apparently, Rabbit Killer is proof of continuously defeating a certain number of rabbit-type enemies, and experience points gained becomes 1.2 times. Meanwhile, Inhumane is proof of continuously defeating monsters with inhumane methods, and damage from inhumane attacks becomes 1.5 times. Its common effects are increased experience points and drop rate. It activates when defeating a monster, and a portion of the defeated target stats becomes visible. The fact that the effect for Inhumane is so high is kind of irritating. Anyway, if he factors in the buff from this title to his damage so far, then that's 1.8 times multiplier. Almost double. He's so happy. It's just that the name of the title is kinda bad. Well, what's done is done. He got rabbit bones, but that's not what he wanted. So time to resume the rabbit hunt. While sitting on the floor, holding rabbit bones and meat, a window popped up to inform him that he learned the skill sneak attack, and the level of martial arts has increased. Looks like the first skill to reach level 2 is martial arts. Was he a light warrior or something? On top of that, he learned some kind of assassin-like skill. He should reconfirm his job. His main job is priest, but right now, equipment-wise, he's a hunter. Speaking of hunters, besides trappers, they're the only job that can use traps in addition to bows and daggers. Traps? Trap techniques. Come to think of it, Shun did say he can do pretty much anything he can do in real life. Should he give it a try? Tuka changed his tactics and went with catching rabbits by trapping them and hiding somewhere using his stealth skill. To boost the trap's effectiveness, he allocated the 5 skill points he got from leveling up into dexterity, and to raise his hunting efficiency, he also allocated some skill points into strength. If what Shun said was true, then he should be able to get the horns with a dagger. He actually just cut it off. Well, at least he finally got one. Now, he just needs 3 more. Additionally, the level of roar has increased. Just ignore that one. Alright, back to collecting horns. After a few more hunts, he's finally got all the horns he needed. Now all that's left are the herbs and moss. He tried to pull up the grass growing around here, but yeah, just randomly pulling stuff up won't work. Where is he supposed to gather medicinal herbs then? What should he do? He crouched down and tried to pull more grass, but those aren't it either. Just then, a girl approached him. She seemed a little bigger than Kanan, but no matter how you look at it, she looks like an elementary schooler. However, elementary schoolers can't use VR equipment due to age restrictions, so she must just be small for her age. Anyway, he got up and asked what he could help her with. She introduced herself as Mai, a beginner who just started. Tuka also introduced himself, he's a beginner too. Since the game just started today, he believes pretty much everyone's a beginner. He heard that the number of beta testers was small as well. That's what Shun said. Mai's face flushed red in embarrassment at her mistake before asking him for a favor. She'd like to have some of his rabbit bones. He does have a few of those. He kept hunting for the horn, but it never dropped, so he got frustrated and held on to them. Why does she want them, by the way? Actually, she's an alchemist, but she needs rabbit bones for something she wants to make. And it seems like quite a rare drop. It just won't drop at all. She's aiming for a crafting class. She always ends up playing crafting classes in other games too, and her name Mai is even taken from Make. It seems the crafting system of this game is quite rich, even though it's titled Endless Battle. The conversation got sidetracked. He doesn't use it anyway, so he doesn't mind giving her the bone. Then he handed her one like she asked. However, Mai feels bad taking it for free, so she asked if there's anything he'd like in return. Something he'd like? That's right. Does she happen to know where to gather herbs? She's actually just on her way back from gathering them right now. In that case, they can exchange the information on that location for the rabbit bone. Mai didn't mind at all, but since she has some extra that she gathered, how about exchanging it for that instead? Tuka refused. He'd rather gather it with his own hands. Mai beamed. She totally gets that. The sense of accomplishment when you obtain it is just different. They bonded about their similarities for quite a bit before going their separate ways. They ended up talking for quite a while. But before Tuka left, Mai asked him for another thing. It's not a big deal at all. If he doesn't want to, it's totally fine, but she'd like to be friends with him if he doesn't mind. Tuka didn't mind at all. He'd almost want to ask her himself. And just like that, he made his first friend in this game. Mai watched Tuka walk away when she suddenly remembered something and called out to him. She warned him that a super hard turtle sometimes appears at the pond she told him about, so he should be careful. Tuka thanked her and watched her walk towards the opposite direction. As for him, he followed her directions and finally reached the pond she was talking about. And there it is, the herbs he needed. Considering the water, there must be a high-quality one and a normal one. Now, he hopes he doesn't trigger the greed sensor. After a few pulls here and there, he got 56 herbs, 28 high-quality herbs, 4 premium herbs, and 1 leaf of the world tree. Wait, leaf of the what? This is the second time this pattern has happened. Holy water and now a leaf of the world tree? Come on. These shouldn't be things you get right at the start, should they? He let out a sigh, trying to calm himself down. If Mai didn't say anything, it means the probability is extremely low or there's some special condition. Could it be related to a secret quest? Just then, he noticed a bunch of turtles swimming out of the pond. They look like the turtle that drops moss. Well, he'll try defeating it for now. He threw a stone towards one of them. However, it hit its shell and bounced off. It certainly is hard. Its health points haven't even gone down. He'll just peel it off directly. Then, like with the rabbit, he grabbed the turtle and scraped off the moss on its shell. Now, he's chopping its head off. That ends the battle. Was it even a battle? It was a one-sided slaughter. Anyway, the turtle head and shell are the items that dropped. He has no use for it right now, but the shell looks like it could be made into a shield or something. He continued scraping more moss off of the remaining turtles, finding it super fun. His level is rising even faster than with the rabbit, and even his swordsmanship skill has leveled up. This is so fun. Now that he's got 10 turtle mosses, it's time to head back soon. He was about to leave when he heard a noise coming from behind him. When he turned around to check, what he saw was a huge turtle. He quickly hid behind a tree to think. There seems to be no death penalty for the first time, and if you look closely, it has moss growing on its back too. Alright, he's hunting that giant turtle too. Maybe that moss on its shell is a higher rank quest item? If that's the case, then rabbits might also have quest items. Well, first, he has to deal with this giant turtle right in front of him. He creeped up behind it using his stealth skill and was about to scrape off the moss on its shell when the turtle suddenly looked back and attacked, pushing him back against a nearby tree. Ooh, that hurts. If that had been a horned rabbit, he would have been hit by a follow-up attack and defeated. His health points went down a lot because of that, so he used recovery magic on himself. It's only level 1, but he's a priest after all, so he somehow managed to recover up to 50%. Tuka panted heavily, hiding behind another tree. He let his guard down. Just because it was easy until now doesn't mean it will be from now on. He used his stealth skill again. However, he was once again found out by the turtle, so he ran away. He tried to calm himself down and regain his stance, hiding behind a bush. For now, he'll raise intelligence as much as he can. Next, he'll activate Priest Element number 2, Enhancement Magic. What can be used at Enchantment Magic level 1 are Attack Up and Defense Up, so he'll raise those two rapidly. Also, attacking that hard shell, or even its skin, probably won't do much damage, so he'll switch to the staff, which seems most effective against the giant turtle. Alright, there's no time to talk about peeling off the moss anymore. He's counting on a drop. Tuka came out of his hiding spot and faced the turtle, using and releasing his stealth. By doing this, it loses sight of him and is confused. It's fine, it hasn't noticed him yet. He jumped off the ground and swung his staff, using his skill Smash. Smash is an art of club arts being used for the first time without much thought. With the surprise attack and inhumane bonuses, the damage is 1.5 times, and with the surprise attack effect, it becomes 2 times. Furthermore, a regular smash results in 3 times the damage, delivering a massive blow with power that a level 5 player shouldn't be able to achieve, striking the giant turtle's front right leg. The turtle screeched in pain. After all, that attack smash plus 2 surprise attacks plus inhumane effect is equal to 1.5 times damage. Result, triple the damage of a normal smash. He did it. After boosting his strength and using attack up, the damage really skyrocketed. His staff technique level has also increased. Perfect timing. It gave him a reality check when he was getting a bit carried away, so he should return the favor. With the skill that just leveled up, he'll beat this mother trucker to a pulp with staff technique. He got hit with a pretty painful surprise attack from that guy, so he was pissed, though it surprised him too. He laughed maniacally and went wild on beating the poor turtle. Finally, after pounding it for a full 10 minutes, it seems like it died. As expected of a dragon, it really took some time. Anyway, his level has increased 3 times, and he even acquired the title, Giant Killing. Additionally, the title, Inhumane, has been promoted to Outlaw. Whatever, he doesn't care anymore. What's important is he finally took it down. Not only was it tough, its health points were ridiculously high. Good thing he immobilized it with the first strike. Well, thanks to that, his staff technique leveled up. And since he was using both surprise attack and stealth, those leveled up too. Now then, he should check the dropped items. There's a giant turtle tail, liver, shell, and 4 claws. Oh, must drop too. Looks like they're really a higher tier items. Then it's almost certain there are high grade materials for the horns as well. Wait a sec, he also acquired equipment. It's a tortoiseshell staff. This is seriously strong. The strength bonus is absurdly high. It adds 30 points in strength and deducts 15 points in agility. It's a war staff made from the shell of a giant turtle, and attacks have a luck percentage chance to gain the water attribute. Due to the turtle's curse, movements become sluggish. There's also the turtle talisman, a talisman modeled after a turtle shell, and is said to protect the wearer from misfortune. It adds 10 points in vitality, and damage dealt with water attribute attacks becomes 1.1 times. These are good, but isn't that a bit too reckless for solo play? Anyway, his agility decreased with the staff, but he did level up. Then, if he just raises his agility, won't that solve it? Even considering the drawback, 30 points in strength is an outrageous value. He really got himself something good. As for those 2 titles he obtained, does he really have to check them? Guess he has no choice. Apparently, giant killing is proof of single-handedly defeating an opponent whose level is 10 or more higher than your own and whose 2 or more stats are at least 10 times higher than yours. When fighting opponents of a higher level, his stats become 1.5 times. This is genuinely useful and will probably be invaluable in boss fights. And the other one is Outlaw. It's proof of continuing down that path even after being called inhumane. Damage from outlaw-style attacks becomes 2 times. Even when he's prepared, it still stings. And the fact that it's so useful just makes it even more annoying. He knows that double damage with no drawbacks is insanely strong, but the name of the title is just too much. People who play like that would probably like it, but he's not like that, and yet he has it. Is he becoming kind of a dangerous guy in game? Well, whatever. He got stronger, so he'll take that as a win. Next, since he's come this far, he wants to aim for the giant rabbit's horn too. Judging by this pattern, it seems he just needs to find and defeat a giant rabbit. He's got lunch, so he wants to log out by 12, and it's only 11:33 right now. Alright, he'll search until the 50-minute mark, and if he doesn't find one, he'll give up. Now then, where should he look? Tuka was so enthusiastic when he started this, but just 15 minutes later, he's starting to question whether a giant rabbit even truly exists. He did hunt a few horned rabbits and got to level 10. And well, at least he's realized just how absurdly strong this tortoiseshell staff is as a weapon. It's strong, but if he had to complain about something, it's the appearance. The turtle shell patterns look like 2 pieces stuck together. It's like a lollipop on a stick and doesn't look very cool. And also, why are so many normal horns dropping? It keeps dropping meat non-stop too. He doesn't need this meat anymore. He still can't find a giant rabbit though. Maybe there are special conditions for it. He glanced at the time and it's already 11:55. He only has 5 more minutes. He decided to use this little time to go deeper into the forest when he noticed that the grass around there was a bit shorter. Could it be that something has been eating the grass here? There doesn't seem to be anything in particular, though. Just then, he noticed a small hole. It's the only suspicious thing around here. It looks like some kind of burrow. Wait, could this be? Alright, he'll set a trap in front of the hole for now. He placed a level 1 bear trap at the entrance. This should do it. Now that the trap is set, all that's left is to lure it out. But what should he do? Oh, with his skill roar, he might be able to pull it off? He cleared his throat and finally let out the level 2 roar. By shouting, the monster's attention is drawn to the user. However, it is extremely loud. Anyway, he used his stealth and waited. And after a short while, something began to appear from the burrow. Bingo! His intuition was right. This was the nest of a giant rabbit. The rabbit attempted to leave the burrow, but ended up getting trapped instead. That bear trap is amazing, ain't it? Tuka, who was hidden thanks to his stealth, used attack up to hit its back with the staff and send it flying. Impact shot, usable at staff technique level 3, delivers extremely high single hit power. On top of that, the tortoiseshell staff also activates its water attribute effect. The outlaw and surprise attack double effects, along with various additional effects, also activates. A staggering total damage multiplier of 10.5 times was unleashed. And just like that, the rabbit ended up unconscious by a tree. Incredible. Tuka's own strength has increased compared to when he fought the giant turtle, too. His equipment has improved a lot as well, and the giant killing activated properly. In other words, the actual damage difference is even greater than the mathematical multiplier suggests. Not only that, his level has increased by 2 times, and his trap technique leveled up. Additionally, he acquired the title One-Shot Shatter, and the title rabbit killer has changed to natural enemy of rabbits. Yeah, no, is it really okay to defeat it this easily? He thought it would be more of a struggle, but it went down so effortlessly. It feels kind of strange. Oh, here's the horn. Yes, the giant rabbit's horn dropped. With this, he's obtained all the items needed for the quest. Now, he should check the rest of the loot. Rabbit leg boots. They are boots modeled after the structure of a giant rabbit's legs. With a luck percentage chance, leg-based attacks gain the wind attribute. While equipped, the jump skill is added, and his agility raises up to 15 points. On the other hand, Rabbit Talisman is a talisman depicting a giant rabbit. When worn, it increases movement speed. 10 points is added to his agility, and damage dealt with wind attribute attacks become 1.1 times. Even offsetting the tortoiseshell staff's drawbacks, his agility goes up a lot. Problem is, these boots are pink. They're kind of mismatched with his current hunter outfit. They might suit a cleric outfit better. He also put on the Rabbit Talisman, which has a cute, comical design as well. He kind of likes it. Looks like that giant rabbit was the model, but the design is way better than the tortoiseshell staff. By the way, the turtle talisman dropped by the giant turtle is pendant-shaped. Next up, titles. Since he already has Outlaw, there's nothing for him to fear. Meanwhile, the natural enemy of rabbits is proof of defeating a certain number of rabbit-type enemies and additionally defeating a giant rabbit. Damage dealt to rabbit-type enemies and experience points gained from them becomes 1.5 times. This feels like an upgraded version of Killer. A 1.5 times experience boost is huge. One-shot shatter, on the other hand, is proof of defeating a powerful enemy with a single blow. Damage from the first attack only becomes 2 times. This is also insanely strong. A double first hit is just too overpowered. Through this battle, he realized that the compatibility between attributes and items is quite complex. For example, beast-type enemies have high physical ability but are weak to magic, especially fire and water. Is their weakness to these two perhaps due to the general belief that beasts fear fire and the fact that they are land creatures? Come to think of it, what time is it now? It's already past 12. Well then, should he log out? Is it really okay to log out like this? He doesn't even know how to log out yet, which is supposed to be super basic. He could only log out instantly in town or at an ST, if he remembers right. If he force log out in a no logout area, his avatar stays there for about 5 to 10 minutes in a defenseless state or something like that. He looked around, his eyes stopping at a nearby tree. If it's on top of a tree, maybe enemies won't find him, right? If an enemy that can climb trees shows up, well, rest in peace. He'll just give up. Anyway, this tree looks pretty good. Seems easy to climb, and the branches are sturdy. Alright, up he goes. Tuka climbed the tree and was about to grab a branch when he slipped and fell. That hurts. What the? This is way harder than he thought. He even took damage. Good thing he can heal. Okay, one more time. Finally, after falling and healing himself countless times, he finally succeeded. He actually used healing magic way more than in actual combat. But thanks to this, his healing magic level went up. In the end, the only time he managed to climb the tree was in his 10th plus attempt, after he got acrobatics. Even at level 1, having a skill makes a huge difference. Anyway, once he finally found a good spot, he logged out. Back in the real world, Mamoru stood up and stretched his body. He used to hate this stuff, but it's actually pretty fun. Well, the only MMO-like interactions he had were with Mai and Kanan, and one of them is an NPC. Right, what should he make for lunch? Fried rice is fine. Just as he was about to open his bedroom door, he noticed 2 notes taped on it, telling him to come to Shun's room right after he logs out. That's right, he totally forgot. It'll be bad if he leaves it like this. They probably searched all over the starter town, couldn't find him, logged out for now, and then came to his room. After confirming he was still inside the game, they must have gotten angry. He'll just bring what he bought yesterday. Mamoru went to Shun's house and knocked on his bedroom door. He opened the door after getting permission to come in, and was greeted by their angry faces. Well, it is his fault. But why are they sitting in Seiza? I know, that's not important. He apologized to both of them, and brought cola and chips as an apology. Akira glanced at him, and asked how they tasted. She need not worry, it's the butter flavor she likes. He even has garlic flavor as well. Akira immediately beamed in excitement and took the bags of chips, asking if she could open them. It is an apology, so she can go ahead and eat. She loves butter and garlic flavors to death, so Mamoru came prepared. Shun, on the other hand, asked if he had the consomme one. He waited for Mamoru's answer, but when the latter just laughed, he cursed in frustration. He's always the one left out. Mamoru hurriedly raised the bag of chips, chuckling. He was just kidding. He actually got the consomme flavor. Shun grabbed the chips, and finally forgave him. That's his Mamoru. Meanwhile, Akira munched on her chips and poured cola on a cup before chugging it down. It's so good. Seriously, she never changes. She still chugs drinks like always. Once everyone settled, Shun asked Mamoru where he was. They searched all over town but couldn't find him. They thought he wasn't logged in, but it looked like he actually was. Mamoru's right on the mark. They were indeed looking for him. Well, they were excited about today, after all. About that, he explained that after he logged in, he slipped into an alley to escape the crowd and got lost. Then, he happened to find an NPC and accepted a quest, and while doing it, a bunch of stuff happened. Akira wondered if the alleys really were that complicated, to which Mamoru responded that they were insanely more confusing than a bad maze. If he hadn't run into Kanan, he might have been lost forever. Hearing about a place like that in the starter town made Akira excited. That sounds fun. But wait, who's Kanan? That's the NPC he mentioned earlier. Now that Shun thought about it, why would an NPC like Kanan be in an alley like that? Mamoru just answered vaguely. If he tells them the reason, he'd be breaking his promise to Kanan. He claimed that she's probably a special quest NPC, which was true, and that's why they made her hard to find. Shun believed him without any question. It actually made sense anyway. It does hurt to lie to these two, but it can't be helped. Mamoru will just make it up to them next time. Some people might say it's just a promise with an NPC, but in that world, they are definitely alive. He's gotta keep his promise. After a while, Mamoru stood up to leave and headed back home. Alright, it's time to make lunch. Suddenly, Shun asked what's on today's menu. Mamoru absent-mindedly answered that it was fried rice, but upon realizing who it was, he turned around to ask why they were here. Well, no one's home at their place, and they're hungry. So as punishment for him having fun alone, they figured he could make their lunch too. Mamoru's really weak to that kind of logic. But fine, it's just fried rice though. They were absolutely fine with that. Mamoru watched them eat with a smile. It suddenly got noisy, but honestly, this is way better than things being too quiet. After having lunch, he went back to his room to log in again. Those two are probably already inside grinding levels. Well, it was his fault, so that's fine. Anyway, he finally logged in and entered the VR space. Though, can't the devs do something about this weird feeling when logging in? He checked his status, wondering which way the town was. However, he couldn't find it. He was thinking of just figuring it out when he finally saw the map. Looking at this, it seems he really wandered around in a total mess. Then, he noticed some icons. The one with a horned rabbit indicates the rabbit nest, where a large rabbit may appear if you make loud noises near the holes where rabbits live. Meanwhile, the one with the turtle indicates the turtle pond, a pond where turtles live, and sometimes a big turtle comes out to dry its shell. It seems he can encounter big enemies at spots like these. At that moment, he was suddenly transported to the last place he was in, which was on top of a tree, and ended up falling down on the ground. His health points dropped by half, so he went and healed himself. With this, the embarrassing evidence is erased, or not. His healing magic leveled up. He's happy that it did, but the reason's a bit disappointing. He wanted to level it by healing after taking damage in actual combat. Anyway, now that he knows the way, he should head back fast. If he's late again, who knows what those two will say. With his equipment, his agility is at 140. Since he's already here, he'll just run back and punch his way out if an enemy shows up. At the starter town, grassland field, some baldy was hunting monsters and finally hit level 5. He's probably beaten him or whoever he is now. But knowing him, he should push to level 6. No, 7. Okay, his next target is, oh, he found a boar. No, wait, is this a horned rabbit on the ground? That was close. He's not letting it get away. His sentence was cut off when a horned rabbit flew his way and hit his head. He grabbed the rabbit and rubbed the spot on his head that was hit. Even if it's just a low-level rabbit, sending it flying like that. What kind of brute strength is that? Who the heck would even do this? Just as he was about to say that, he noticed a shocking scene before him. What the hell is that? Someone, and by someone, it means our crazy RMC, just ran by while hitting the rabbits in his way left and right with a staff like a lunatic. Seriously, what the hell was that? Inhumane, one-shot shatter, surprise attack, and natural enemies of the rabbits. That's a constant 9 times damage bonus. On top of that, he even got the unsettling title of the Slasher. Is he really that much of an inhumane, though? Well, the rabbits do turn into particles of light the instant he hits them, and if he doesn't kill them in one shot, they usually get stunned. From an outsider's perspective, he must be carving a pretty gruesome path. After a little more running, he can finally see the town up ahead. Though, he still can't find those two. He doesn't even know what they look like in this world. Guess he won't know unless he gets closer. Since he got some time, he decided to do some shopping at the item shop. He didn't see Kanan though. Was it just bad timing? Anyway, he sold the rabbit meat for 100 Toran each, and that brings his total up to 1,500 Toran. He walked towards the fountain in the square to collect more water, hoping the greed sensor wouldn't activate this time. After that, he got 4 plain water, for clean water, 50 Toran, and holy water. Finally, He got clean water, so that's done. Also the bottle of holy water, that easily? Is this supposed to happen? And this other bottle has 50 Toran in it. Well, you find coins in real-life fountains too, so it's not that weird. Just then, someone called out his name. It was Mai. She became confused when she found out Tuka was drawing some water from the fountain. Isn't that amazing? Tuka was taken aback. Is it that big of a deal? Why, yes, it's super amazing. She can't believe he can get water from a fountain in town. It seems that water-type items had only been found in 2 places so far: the spring water from puddles scattered around the grasslands, and pond water from the turtle pond. Apparently, they can also get clean water from the same spots they find spring water. Really, Mai never would have thought she could get water from the town fountain. Assumptions are a scary thing. Tuka scratched the back of his head. She'll never know until she tries, right? By the way, he's curious as to what she's up to. Actually, she just finished making the item for her quest, so she was on her way to report it. She was able to finish the quest thanks to the bones he gave her. She bowed, thanking him again for everything back then. Tuka assured her not to worry since she told him where the turtles spawned when they parted ways. That information was a huge help because he needed an item called a turtle shell. Mai was just glad she could be of help. It's a bit late to ask, but was it really okay for her to take that rabbit bone? Tuka answered affirmatively. He had a lot of fun talking about mining with her. So did she. He's the first person she's had that much fun with. She had a blast. Looks like she felt the same way as him. That makes him happy. Suddenly, they heard the sound of people fighting nearby. The warrior is Ricles, and the mage is Callet. They are apparently arguing regarding each other's fighting styles. Tuka and Mai stood there, watching them argue with worried expressions. They're awfully familiar, aren't they? Tuka wondered if he should say something, or if he should just pretend he doesn't know them. But it's too late. The two already noticed him, and immediately recognized who he was. They quickly tattled on each other, arguing about whose fault it was. Well, at least they managed to meet up. Mai wondered if those two were his friends. Well, yeah, he thinks so? Unfortunately. Tuka sighed and tried to calm them down when they wouldn't stop fighting, but they wouldn't, so he punched Ricles on the chin. Thankfully, that helped to calm them down. Come to think of it, they don't know each other's names. So first things first, they should introduce themselves. Shun went first. It feels weird introducing himself to them, but in this game, he is Ricles. As for Akira, her name here is Callet. They are both using the names they use in another game, just like Tuka, who also introduced himself. Their gazes then traveled to Mai, questioning who she was. They didn't seem very friendly. Tuka explained that she became his friend while he was doing that quest he told them about. Thanks to his explanation, the two turned into a complete 360 and became friendlier towards her. At the same time, Mai nervously introduced herself and even bowed her head. She looks more flustered than when she met Tuka. Is she bad at this kind of thing? But she talked to him just fine. However, it seems like he doesn't have to worry as she finally relaxed after being welcomed by the two. Looks like they'll be fine. Mai had another quest report to turn in, so after registering as friends, they parted ways. Now, Tuka wondered what they should do from here, and asked what level they were. Ricles is level 3, while Callet is only level 2. Hearing that made Tuka scratch his cheek. Man, a pretty big gap opened up. Alright, they should focus on leveling them up for a while. Ricles appreciates that, but what level is he? A lot happened, so he's pretty high level. His level 12. The two couldn't believe it. That's so high. Well, a whole lot really did happen, like hunting rabbits and turtles, and being a slasher. Thanks to all that, he even got a title he'd rather not have, Slasher. It's proof of damaging a large number of monsters without even entering combat, and he acquired Strike with the back of the blade. Another one he got is Blaster. It's proof of continuously sending monsters flying with his attacks, and it increases knockback effects. He got 2 skills as well, Strike with the back of the blade, a passive skill that ensures an enemy's health points will always be at 1, and Sprint, a skill that multiplies agility while running by 1.5 times the skill level. Really, he has nothing more to say. The two were suddenly fired up. Callet can't just let Tuka leave her in the dust. At this rate, she's hitting level 10 by the end of the day. Ricles agreed. In fact, he's gonna surpass him. By the way, their jobs. Callet is a fire mage and light warrior, while Ricles is a heavy warrior and a light warrior. Isn't that just a regular warrior? Why the hell would they pick jobs that could potentially cancel out each other's strengths? Because this way, Ricles can always fight on the front lines and adapt on the fly. If he can actually fight adaptably, that is. In that case, he's leaving the strategy to him. Really? Is he an idiot? Tuka turned around, sighing. No, that was dumb of him. Ricles can't really deny it, and that hurts. Whatever, it's fine. He'll get used to it. Shun's only redeeming quality is that he's a quick learner. Still sulking, Ricles questioned if that was a compliment or not. As for Callet, she's a fire mage and a light warrior. Tuka facepalmed. These guys are again, with another combination that's likely to be a jack of all trades, master of none. He asked why she chose that, and it's because she wants to blast enemies with magic from a distance, and if they think it's safe to get close, she wants to be able to crush them. Seeing his nonchalant response irked her. However, they were interrupted by Ricles, who asked what jobs Tuka picked. Tuka answered that he's a priest and a hunter. He's one to talk, his build is pretty weird too, but he picked priest as his main job to support them, and it's already coming in handy. He especially likes the staff. Oh, right. Before they go level up, he wants to go turn in a quest report, and asked if they're cool with that. Ricles agreed, but Cowlette sounded contemptuous. Was it the quest he was working on while he left them behind? She's got a real edge to her voice. Can't they just make a truce already? Anyway, Tuka's just gonna pop out for a bit, and asked if they wanted to come with him. The two refused. Cowlette actually wanted to explore the back alleys. Tuka reminded them to be careful of the stepping hell because if they get lost, they really can't get out. They'll be playing endless stepping hell online. Ricles was terrified by the thought of it, while Cowlette wondered if it really was that much of a maze. To answer her question, Tuka would probably still be lost in there if he hadn't run into Kanan. Well, he's not too worried, so they can go together sometime. And so, they went their separate ways for now. Cowlette and Ricles will explore the town, while Tuka is off to the item shop to deliver the quest items. Kanan wasn't at the store, but he's sure he'll see her if he goes in again. If she's not there, maybe he'll check the secret base. At that time, he still hadn't realized the terror that awaited him. Once he entered the shop, he was surprised to see the long line by the counter. Kanan noticed him and abandoned the customers to get to him and ask if he had already managed to find everything. Because of that, Tuka became the target of everyone's hostility. He'll just ignore them, that's the only option anyway. And to answer her question, yes, he'd gathered them all properly. If that's the case, she grabbed his wrist and dragged him to the back of the shop, and to a room that he wouldn't have been able to enter without passing the quest. With Kanan's instruction, he put the materials he brought in the event materials item slot. As expected, things like holy water and whatever else were special materials for the quest. He would have been frustrated if he hadn't gathered those. He's glad he gathered them. After receiving all the materials, Kanan was amazed by their quality. Her dad did show her before, but they weren't this splendid, as expected of the item's shop owner's daughter. To him, they look like the same materials, but to her, they look splendid. Or perhaps a crafting class like Mai would know these materials too. Anyway, his hard work paid off if that's the case. With this, her dad's injury will heal right away. Kanan brought out a mortar and pestle. They're going to make medicine with this. When Tuka asked how they'd make it with those, a window popped up before him. It seems that to combine the materials, he can decide whether to use special materials or not from the window. He wondered what to do, so Kanan explained that when her dad made it, he would vigorously crush the horn, then grind it together with the herbs, and then boil it vigorously with water. So first, they need the rabbit horn, and with just one click, it turned to dust. What a convenient specification. Since she said vigorously, Tuka thought they'd be hitting it with a hammer or something, but that wasn't the case at all. Next, they will grind everything together using the mortar and pestle. This part is manual, so Tuka volunteered to do it. This is kind of nostalgic. He remembers using this in science class in middle school. At that time, the person next to him, Shun, was vigorously stirring the pestle when everything went flying towards the teacher's face. That's when he learned firsthand that when a usually gentle person gets angry, it's scary. He was snapped out of his thoughts when Kanan claimed she wanted to do it as well, so he handed her the pestle and reminded her to be careful not to spill it. While she does that, Tuka thought he should allocate his skill points while he has the chance. From now on, supporting as a priest will be his main role. Raising magic power and intelligence. Given those two idiots jobs, healing and buffs will be his job. He soon had to stop thinking when Kanan announced she was done with the grinding. They poured the mixture in a cup and melted it till it turned into liquid. Finally, it's done. This is the Kanan branded Ultimate Healing Potion. A healing potion made using all the special materials in addition to the regular ones. A beloved daughter's handiwork. Its effect is only demonstrated in specific people, and the element of someone's help that likely intervened during creation is not recognized. Welp, he'll just pretend he didn't see that last part. Anyway, it's a huge success because of her help. Kanan was happy to hear that. This quest required cooperation with her to create the item. The best medicine for a father must be the family love created by his worried daughter. And the work that wasn't skipped seems to be Kanan's helping point. More importantly, she wants to go give the medicine to her dad right away. If he finds out she helped, he'll surely be happy. And so, they barged into her dad's room to bring the medicine. Her dad got up from the bed weakly and was confused refused to see the medicine. He was supposed to have run out of ingredients, but Kanan explained that Tuka found the materials for them. Her dad turned to Tuka. Why is he being so freaking scary? Even Tuka's wondering why this old man is staring so intensely. But he just smirked and gulped down the medicine in one go, even though there was quite a bit of it. His body let out a bright glow, and his injuries seemed to have healed immediately. He remained quiet, just staring at the bottle the medicine was stored in. First of all, he has to thank Tuka for saving him. He had a bit of an accident while hunting in the forest, and he didn't have the materials to make medicine, so this was a huge help. Tuka scratched the back of his head, saying that was terrible. But he froze after noticing the old man's glare, and let him continue speaking. This medicine is considerably more potent than what he usually uses. It seems Tuka used quite good ingredients. Well, Tuka did use outrageous ingredients like holy water and world tree leaf, after all. Additionally, he introduced himself when the old man asked for his name. Then, the old man suddenly asked if he could hunt great rabbits and great turtles. Tuka scratched his cheek, answering affirmatively, though not in a straight fight, but by using surprise attacks and traps. Kanan's dad smirked. That's right. Hunting isn't a battle. No matter what you do, if you take it down, you win. Seriously, what's with him? He's incredibly scary. At that moment, Kanan scolded her dad for glaring at Tuka. He tried to explain that he wasn't exactly glaring, and was just checking if Tuka really has that kind of strength, but she wasn't hearing it. Oh my, he just turns into a cinnamon roll with his daughter's scolding. Anyway, he pointed out how she seemed to have taken a liking to Tuka. Of course, she was crying when he got injured and they had no medicine, but Tuka said he'd go look for the medicine ingredients for them, and he really found it for them. He's such a kind big brother. In that case, they must thank him. He told her to go tell her mother that he is healed. And also, he wants to celebrate tonight because the injury is healed, so she should help her mother so she can finish her work quickly. Kanan happily agreed and ran out, bidding them goodbye. Tuka has finally cleared the secret quest, Kanan's request. Thanks to that, he learned the skill alchemy and even gained experience points. He also acquired a new title, Savior of the Maiden. He's relieved that the request from Kanan was completed. However, having the title of Savior feels kinda itchy. His soul almost left his body when Kanan's dad turned to him with a dark expression. He seems angry that Tuka has successfully charmed his adorable daughter, and Tuka could only back up and shed tears. He somehow knew it. The intense killing intent that was directed at him ever since Kanan protected him. He could smell this situation happening from 10 miles away. This old man is super dangerous. Kanan's dad leaned closer, questioning if he was also one of those people that's after his angel. Sir, respectfully, your daughter looks like an elementary student. Tuka tried to explain that there seems to be a misunderstanding. However, the old man had already grabbed his wrist. Whether he has the right for that, he'll be the one to check. And with that, he dragged Tuka away. Seriously, this guy can't be reasoned with. Kanan, come back. The old man, armed with a bow and dagger, brought him to a grass field and asked if he was prepared. Tuka answered affirmatively and took a stance, holding his staff, while Kanan's dad readied to shoot. How the hell did it come to this? A little earlier, a window popped up while Tuka was getting dragged away. Apparently, a special quest has appeared after meeting the conditions. The secret quests, Trial of the Father, clear condition is to make Kanan's dad, Rugan, acknowledge his ability. The system asked if he'll accept, and the choices? Yes or yes. He can't believe it. He doesn't even have a choice. It's forced. Then, Rugan told him to quit whining and to follow him. How dare a coward like him lay a hand on his Kanan? Tuka insisted that he didn't lay a hand on her, but that just made Rugan angrier. Is he trying to say that his angel has no charm? This guy's such a pain. He gets angry no matter what he says. He dragged Tuka out the door and into a grass field, telling him to draw his weapon. Tuka wondered if they really were doing this, and Rugan responded affirmatively. 12 out of 10 of the reason is that he wants to kill the bastard who seduced his cute angel. Also, giant turtles and giant rabbits aren't the same as normal animals. He's seen many idiots who got cocky and challenged them, only to die horribly. Judging from his equipment, he's guessing he just recently started hunting. At worst, today or yesterday might have been his first time. He was spot on. Today is indeed Tuka's first time hunting since the game service only started today. But for him as an NPC, this world has existed far longer. He might have judged Tuka's inexperience from his gear and posture. Rugan smirked. He knew it. And for his first hunt, he defeated both a giant turtle and a giant rabbit. As a fellow hunter, it's only natural he'd want to gauge his ability, right? Hearing his words, Tuka finally accepted his challenge. Rugan grabbed a bow from his quiver and asked if Tuka was prepared, to which Tuka replied with yes. He has no choice but to do it anyway. With that, Rugan pulled on his bowstring, while the skill giant killing activated for Tuka. That means Rugan is above his level. He knew that from the start, though. In that case, he'll raise his stats before the fight. He thought thought he had a chance, and Rugan spent no time humbling him. Multiple arrows flew towards him, aiming for his vital points. He had to roll on the ground to avoid the arrows, but Rugan wouldn't give him a break and kept firing. That freaking old man. He brought death. Tuka got up and parried the arrows with his staff. Seriously, how's that old man so fast? What kind of speed is that? He wants to land a clean hit with his opening skill one-shot shatter. He tries not to get greedy, but doubling the damage is too tempting. The problem is, he can't close the distance. In that case, he's letting go of his staff and is using the bow too. But that split moment of change left him unguarded for a few seconds, causing a number of arrows to hit him. This game is called Endless Battle. Pain sensitivity can be adjusted so it doesn't relay full pain. With default settings, even if he takes big damage, it only causes numb discomfort. The numbness feeling like real pain is probably just psychological. But even if it's reduced, it's still an unpleasant sensation. He took off the arrow from his shoulder and used healing magic on himself. Now it's his turn to hit. But just as he was about to attack, arrows once again came flying towards him, hitting his eye, rib, and thigh. Tuka staggered back, cursing. His vision, half of it's gone. As expected, Rugan's a serious veteran. But still, he's not planning to lose quietly. He shot an arrow, aiming for Rugan's chest, which he was able to dodge and only graze his arm. While he was distracted, Tuka healed himself. Good thing he raised his intelligence stat. He's now fully healed. At the same time, windows popped up one after another to inform him of his skills leveling up. Looks like they all rose at once. Meanwhile, Rugan stood there, nodding approvingly. Should he say his nerves are steel or should he say he lacks danger awareness? Tuka pulled another arrow. Ideally, he'd prefer the first option, right? Then, he let it go. Unfortunately, Rugan dodged it and counterattacked. He really is strong. Tuka's body moves faster after leveling up and boosting agility, but it's still not enough. At this rate, he'll lose. What should he do? Tuka watched as Rugan reached for another arrow. There it is. A split-second opening. While Rugan's hand was midair to grab a bow, Tuka took this chance to hit his head with his staff, activating impact shot. Rugan was sent flying, but he was able to stand back up like nothing happened. Bro's just tough. He praised Tuka's attack. That one wasn't bad. Tuka was flabbergasted. How the hell does that old fart still have 20% health points left after that? What the hell is this monster? Rugan threw his bow and arrows aside. Looks like he'll have to get serious too. Seeing him reach for his dagger made Tuka nervous. This is bad. Even his melee attacks are monstrous. He tried blocking Rugan's dagger with his staff, but he's just too strong, and he's aiming precisely at his joints, so he can't attack. Just blocking and dodging is all he can do. Rugan praised his dodging. After all, there aren't many who can move like this right from the start. Still dodging, Tuka smirked. Then, he headbutted Rugan, causing him to stumble back. However, he was also stabbed in the stomach, so he quickly healed himself and stacked up his stats. If it's just raw power, he's definitely stronger. Rugan once again raised his dagger with a smirk. He didn't think he'd headbutt him while being sliced open, but he's impressed. Tuka didn't respond and just glared at him. He has to go for it, now. He dashed forward and swung his staff, with Rugan dodging easily. His impressed Tuka's still going for close combat even after seeing his last attack. Well, that's because if he keeps running, he'll never win. Tuka kept on trying to hit him. However, Rugan easily dodged every attack, and even had the energy to question what was wrong and say his attacks are getting sloppy. Tuka let his guard down and got cut by Rugan's dagger, followed by a kick in his stomach. He threw up blood and collapsed on the ground. Rugan stepped closer to stab him. Got him. Tuka's trap activated and he got up to hit Rugan's head with his staff, activating impact shot. Getting kicked away by Rugan let him put distance between the two of them and fall to the ground. Thanks to that, he could fulfill the activation condition of trap skill, which is to set a trap by maintaining contact with the ground for a certain time, without him noticing. And luckily, Rugan got caught in it. Honestly, it was a gamble, but he won that gamble. Tuka excitedly hit him with another impact shot, and was about to land the finishing blow when he noticed Rugan's soul leaving his body to head to the afterlife. At the same time, a window popped up, explaining that the quest will fail and he'll get the bad ending if he defeats Rugan. Oh right, the quest. He definitely overdid it. He quickly healed Rugan, hoping he wouldn't die and would come back to life. He healed him so many times, his healing magic leveled up. Once Rugan was all healed up, Tuka bowed down to apologize and ask if he was okay. Rugan laughed, telling him not to worry about it. He just almost died. It's amazing that he almost died right after healing up. Tuka sweated nervously. That isn't something to joke about. Anyway, Rugan tapped his shoulder, praising his attacks and magic talent. Thanks to that, Tuka can finally let out a relieved sigh. He was so freaking nervous. Not just because the quest might have failed, but because he'd have to tell Kanan her dad got healthy thanks to the medicine they made together, and then he beat him to death. Like hell he could ever say that. And thus, Tuka was now completely and emotionally invested in the NPCs in the game. Chapters end at 9. Thank you for watching guys. I hope you loved this manga. Have a good day.